Graphing simple interest functions. So far in this unit we have looked at calculating simple interest using the formula I equals PRN, and that gives you the amount of interest on an investment over a period of time. In this video we're going to be looking at what the graph of this interest is. So a graph showing over time how the interest grows. Interest earned is on the vertical axis and it's graphed against time on the horizontal axis. We're going to use a table of values showing the interest after 1, 2, 3 years and complete it using the formula I equals PRN. These graphs form a linear function or a straight line, and the gradient of this line is the interest per year, which is consistent. With simple interest you get the same amount added on every year. A higher interest rate will mean more interest and therefore a bigger gradient, a steeper line. We can also graph not just the amount of interest, but a slight modification which could involve graphing the value of the investment instead of the interest, in which case you would add on the principal. By first completing the table of values, graph simple interest against time for the given interest rates if $2,000 is invested. So if we invest $2,000, how much interest will we earn over a period of 5 years? Well, in our first row of the table, we've got interest applying at 5% per annum. And so the interest we're going to get each year is equal to PRN, where N is just 1 year. So the interest we're going to get in 1 year is going to be the principal 2,000 times by the rate 5% for 1 year, and that gives us $100. And so in each of these tables, after 1 year we get $100 of interest, and then every year we add on an extra 100, and so you can see that happening in the table. Each time we add on $100 to get $500 after 5 years. Now, if we had a rate of 6%, to calculate interest in 1 year, which ends up being 120, you would do I equals 2,000 times by 6% times by 1, which gives us $120. And so each time here we add $120, and that builds up our table to get 600 after the 5 years. We're now going to look at what this looks like on the graph. So to graph this, we'll graph the 5% line first. So at the beginning, you don't have any interest. After 1 year, you've got 100, 2, 200, 3, 300, and it continues up until we get to $500 and $500. Okay, there we go. And so this line goes all the way up there and keeps on going. Now, so that's one for the interest at 5%. Now let's graph for 6%. Each time you get 120, so that will be at 240, 360, 480, and 600. And so you can see the slope of this line is a little bit higher. And so we graph that. There we go, it's a bit better. Using a ruler, got interest at 6%. That's what the graph of simple interest looks like. And the steeper your interest on the same principle, the larger interest on the same principle, the steeper the graph. We can also graph how much the investment is worth over time. And so the difference in this graph is that on this axis, vertical one, we don't have the interest, we have the value of the investment. So if we were investing at the $2,000 at 5%, what would the value of the investment be? Well, it'll be whatever we started with, $2,000, plus all the interest we earned. And so after 5 years, we found that we'd earned $500. And so after 5 years, we would have an extra $500. And so the graph would look something like this. Where the values increase from 2,000 to 2,500 over 5 years. So this is graphing simple interest.